Yo, here you go. Here me here to educate you a little Black history moment, little Black history, little concept, little theory. We talk about why the education gap between blacks and whites is so different. Because if you think about it, whites come from a long lineage. White kids, a long lineage of educated parents, educated grandparents, educated great grandparents. As the other side, African Americans, we come from a short lineage of educated family members. I go back to my great grandparents. They were working on farms. They were working on mills. They end up quitting high school at ninth grade. So my great grandfather, my grandfather, never finished school, never went to college, didn't know what the graduation or diploma looked like. Same thing with my grandmother the same way. So my dad, he had to work too. So my family lineage of educated family members starts with me. In contrast to maybe some of my other classmates who were white, where their education family starts all the way back with their great grandparents, why they had access to school.
And then there were some, you could tell that they didn't want us there. They really showed it in a big way. They put signs on lockers and told us to get out, and they threw paper at us, and they shoved us in the halls, and they threw chalk at us, and said all sorts of nasty things. And it just made me feel bad, and I couldn't concentrate at all on my lessons.
But more than on any other individual, the brunt of the pressure was exerted on Principal D.J. Britton, Jr., who had fought the original battle for segregation and was now fighting to obey the law of the land.
Mr. Britton, as principal of Clinton High School, have you yourself suffered any personal harassment since this situation began?
Yes, sir. I can frankly say that I've suffered nothing but personal harassment.
We didn't have access to school. So the education gap is bigger, and it hasn't closed yet. Because think about it, it's only back in the 60s and 70s, which is barely 30, 40 years ago, where people were actually able to go to the same school. And then you still have the prospect of being poor, living in projects, being a minority, and still fighting racism, trying to get the same education. So the education gap is not closed. Yeah, you think, well, everybody has equal rights now, but you understand, we're trying to play catch up. Not to excuse anything at all. But I'm just saying, so people look and understand, well, everybody has equal access to schools now. But I'm saying, if you come from the same way you come from a long lineage of money, if your parents had money, your great-grandparents had money, your grandparents further had money, so you come from a lineage of being financially stable. In contrast to somebody else who comes from a lineage of being poor, now they have to work harder they have to work a little bit harder to get where you at.